Hi, I'm Cher Johnston. Welcome to my happy place. I wasn't gonna do this video today, but I have all the stuff still out on my desk. I'm gonna do the top word, the crazy. We're gonna start with the C. I'm gonna do a cable chain stitch. Starts with sort of a French knot. And by the way, I took my little piece of Pellon and I drew dots around the outside edge so that I could go around curves like that. Thought that was pretty clever. So I also didn't mention I have this disappearing ink and mark be gone pen that I've been using because I lost my blow dryer quit working, so probably doesn't mean anything to you. With the other one that comes out with heat, without a blow dryer, I have to use my iron, and sometimes that's just a problem for me. Anyways, so I put the needle down, I pull that knot a little bit tight, but not too tight, and then wrap the needle to do a chain, and pull through, pulling this direction so that it doesn't, okay? Now, I have my, I'm going to wrap the needle again. I'm going in before that dot, and I'm coming back out after that dot because I want the chains to be, I don't want the cable part to be as long as the chain. I want the chain to be longer than the cable part. Does that make sense? And there we go. Ta-da! Now, again, I'm going to wrap like a French knot, and I'm going in before that dot and coming out after that next one. So they're more than half a centimeter. It's probably 7 millimeters. All right. And then I want to pull that a little bit tight, not too tight. Wrap the thread for the chain and pull through. Ta-da! Again, wrap the thread like a French knot. Insert before the dot and come out after the dot. I'm going to tighten this knot just a bit, not too tight. Just don't want it loose. And then, there we go. Not crazy about 4, but we'll work with it. Maybe let's do one more. I have enough thread, but I don't want it, I think I want it to come down this way. I left room here for some flowers or something. I think I want to do some flowers in there, but I want 5 of these. So, not really paying attention to the dots. I'm just going to try to make it the same. There we go. Pull, tighten that knot a bit, wrap the thread, and do our chain stitch. Then I'm going to end with a French knot there. But I'm not going to pull too tight. Just kind of like that. Okay, next I want to do some, Oh, I'm not crazy about that, but I should have pulled a little tighter, I guess. You know what? That'll be fine. I can hide it with something. Next, I want to do a detached buttonhole stitch on those chain parts. Let me just get more thread. Okay, let me just talk about threads for a minute. This yellow that I have is a pearl cotton number 5, and the color is EZM75. That's a Sue Spargo thread. The white I have right now is a pearl number 8. The color is EZ37. And then this needle that I used is a, that might be a chenille needle. It might be a large embroidery needle, just big enough to fit that thread through because it's a 5. Then I have here a tapestry needle, which means it's like a chenille needle. It has a nice long eye, but it has a blunt tip so that my threads aren't going to go through the not going to split the threads. I have to think for a minute which way I want to go. I think I do this from left to right. So I'm going to start on the outside here, the outside edge of that chain part, and I'm doing a detached buttonhole. When we did this in the Stitch Dictionary, it was called a buttonholed chain stitch. She doesn't call it a detached buttonhole. Sharon Bogan doesn't call it that in her book. But I've heard it called detached buttonhole, so that's what we're going to call it. So I'm also leaving it sort of loose and loopy. These might be helpful. And I'm going to push them down, and I'm going to count. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe one more. Then there's 10. And I only count so that I can do the same number on each one. Then I'm going to go to the back just so that that kind of tacks it down. And then I'm going to come up, right, like a thread away. Could probably tack it down later, but it doesn't matter. We're going to do the same thing. I don't want to pull too tight. I mean, you can, but 2, Gray. Just looks a little more lacy, I think. Or if I had sometimes I do this with different thread. Like if I had wool thread, that might look pretty cool. It's 4. 5. 6. I also have this amazing looking I forget what it's called. I got it at a thrift store. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I'm gonna do the rest of these off camera because I'm concerned about time. Okay. Okay, that's done. And I also, this little end here was kind of poking up. I didn't like it. It was not making me happy. So I went in with the end of my white thread and I just tacked it down. Now I want to do a running stitch. I have blue, and my blue is DMC 3765. And I'm just going to do, I have 3 strands, and I hope that'll be enough. Yeah, that looks good. Doesn't need to be too in your face, but I just want to add a little pop of color there. And then I think I'm going to do some little green dots. Yeah, I like that. Okay, the green that I have is 580. Yeah. And I'm just going to come in here and do a colonial knot. Only because those are my favorite knots to do. So let me just show you how that goes. I'm going to come up here, right at that cable part of the cable chain, and make a backward C like that, and then go around that way. And then I'm going to go back in and stop and tighten that knot just a little bit. It's a good idea to have a milliner's knot, a milliner's needle, anytime you're making knots. I did a book once where I did I filled in Colonial Knots in a space probably about as big as this here, just over and over and over and over again. And then I didn't forget how to do those knots. All right, back that way and that way. Kind of makes a figure 8 on the needle. And now 2 more. We'll end this off. Okay. I was watching Jennifer Clouston this morning, and she did these really cute little flowers. This is a chain stitch with a bullion knot wrap. I'm just going to wrap like 3 times. And don't get caught on that. There we go. Ho ho ho. Pretty cute. And she said, I don't really teach while I'm stitching, but I always learn something. So you wrap like a chain stitch and then wrap 3 more times and then pull through, and then when you let go, you have your chain stitch with a little bullion knot at the top. Go to the back to anchor it, back up for the next stitch. It's cute, huh? Then I'm going to do some little bullion knots in this bright yellow that I have. And she did beads in the center of her flowers. It was so cute. I might have to get out some beads when I'm done. The whole thing. All right, so here's my yellow. And this is, of course, a milliner's needle, and I have a number 1. Is this a milliner's needle? Yeah, I think so. And this is DMC Floss 444. And I think I'm going to do a colonial knot with extra wraps at the end. So again, the colonial knot goes back this way and then wrap this way. I'm going to do 3 wraps and then put the needle back in and pull it kind of tight. See how it's going to be kind of chunky? And that yellow is different from the other yellow. So it's nice and bright. Okay, let's move on to the R. Okay, this time I have purple. It's number 327. This is DMC flossed. Flossed. No, just floss. And I have I think this is a 24 chenille needle. I think I have 4 strands this time. Not because I wanted that. That's just what I picked up and threaded. And I did use my my dot grid to show this again because somebody will ask. It's from the Geometry of Hand Sewing. These are stitching cards that are in the back of the book. And I think somebody should make dot grids that are plastic and sell. I should do that. Anyways, I used the diamond dot grid so I could do a zigzag chain stitch. Before I add extra details, I think I'm going to do this part of the R. Maybe I'll do the rest of it as well. And then, fill in the little details afterward. Because I may have to just do the left-hand side and not the right-hand side. Okay, I'm going to end off this thread. Okay, I have blue and it's 3765. I have 3 strands and a number 5 embroidery needle. I know that because I just bought a bunch of new needles. So I have an idea for what I want to do with this piece of the seam. And I did dots with this little dot thingy. Because that'll go around corners nicely. And the heck, I don't know what's going on in the back. Bugging me. And when you stitch, you do not have to use stitch guides. You do you. I like the stitch guides because I like the perfect little stitches. I think that I might be kind of weird that way, but it's okay. Now this here is this stitch. I'm going to, I don't want to get too close to that because I need to do another stitch down there. But what I do want to do is act like this is a Wheatear stitch, kind of, sort of. But I just want yeah. I don't know if this is still called a Wheatear stitch if I put the straight stitches in later. But that's what I wanted to do. Oh, it was cold this morning, so I put on sweatpants and a sweatshirt, and then when I made lunch, I cooked it in the oven and got it nice and toasty in here, and then got a little warm. So now I have the window open next to me, and there's a nice cool breeze coming in. It's very nice. Okay, I keep forgetting. I have to finish this off camera because I'm going to run out of time. Okay, this time I have some green that is, to be honest, it's just an ort. It was sitting on my desk. I'm going to do a feather stitch for this this part of my Y. I went a little bit crazy, didn't it? It's okay. It's a crazy, crazy quilt. Stitching. Yeah, this doesn't show up very nicely, does it? That's fine. I'm gonna whip this stitch, or, something, something. And I may do those whipping stitches off camera, because you don't need to watch me do the whipping stitches. I did some on camera. Oh, that was a different video. Well, okay, we'll whip a couple stitches on camera. And this one I think I'm going to whip in yellow. Maybe I should use some Razzle Dazzle. All right, I'm going to get some thread and come back. Okay, I like this. I have my Razzle thread. I'll show you later. it was already in a needle. So I'm using the eye of the needle to go under those thingies. And then let's go to the back here. Then let's use this same thread and come up here and whip this side of my chain stitch Wheatear, whatever it is. And that off there. And I want to come back up here in the center of this. And let's do the same thing on this zigzag stitch. I'm going to change needles and finish this. Okay, I finished this off with some yellow. The yellow is, I think I showed this already, didn't I? 444. DMC Floss 444. I just did 2 little straight stitches here every other, like on the zag with the zigzag, all the way down to there, and then I did a running stitch in the middle of that chain stitch. And then I came in here and I did little 1-wrap French knots, and then 3 little straight stitches at the end. Then I took my blue and I did a running stitch. And I made them kind of large because I knew I was going to wrap the, it later. I have a tapestry needle. It has a blunt end, so I can get through those. The green that I used earlier is this rayon Razzle RZ4146. Then this purple that I have in my thread now is Dazzle, and it's DZ5105. And this one, I don't know if you can really tell on camera, it has little metallic sparklies in it, which I really like. And I'm going to do my A with a, I put in the running stitch there, and I'm just wrapping that running stitch. But I'm going to go down to the back here, and I'm going to come back up over here so that this whipping sort of fills in the blanks. Then I'm going to go down here And that's all I'm going to do on that for right now. I think I'm going to do more, but I need to figure out what to do about the Z. It looks pretty cool though. Okay, I'll be back. Okay. This time I have two colors of green. One is 733 and one is 580. You know, I had a piece that I said was an ord. I didn't know what it was. It was this. It was 733. And I drew in some dots. Let me just straighten out my needles and stuff here. Drew in some dots from my dot grid. I want to do a plaited feather stitch. We did one of these in the book, and I wasn't going to repeat any stitches, but just liked this one so much. I'm going to do it again. Goes like this. I'll go to that side, and then we go over from that dot to this one and up there. And these are tiny. Doing these really tiny. Might be too tiny. We'll see. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just park this for a minute up here, which just means I'm putting that needle in up there so I can get this other one and start it. Oh, this one is going to go burp, burp, burp. It starts on the opposite side. I had to check for a minute. So it's going to start over here. And then it's going to go down here and back up there. Wrap the thread and pull through. I better move my elbow there. Okay, and now it's going to go down here and up there. Wrap the thread, pull through. What do we think? I think we think it looks pretty cool. Let's just do a couple more stitches. Oh yeah. That's nice. Then I think in between some of these, I'm going to put beads. So I'm going to do that off camera and come back. figure out how we're going to finish this Z. Okay, I kind of forgot I had this Dazzle, this green Dazzle, DZ4149. I don't know how well you can see in the camera. Can't really see. There's little sparkly bits. And I'm going to show you here. I don't remember where I got this tip. I have a little hair straightener. And I'm just going to straighten that out. It really helps with it. See how boingy it is? Helps to tame it. So it's not quite so boingy. Gotta turn that off. It gets really hot. Okay. Have a little sip of my tea. Okay. Little quilter's knot here. I don't know what stitch I want to do there yet. But I think I might just do, I'm just going to start with a stem stitch. Let's go out there. Ooh, let's do a a knotted go up through. There's two stitches right there where those two come together, and then I'm going to go back up through and under that yarn under that thread, make a little knot. Then again I'm going to go back there, and then move my elbow. There we go. And then I go back up where those two stitches there, see? Go up through them. And then I'm going to go up again and make sure that I'm going through that loop there. That's a nice stitch, isn't it? Now, I'm going to go down here and back up there. And then up under those two stitches, and then again under those two stitches, and I want this behind the stitch. And it's getting to be a little late at night. My neighbors are home. They're kind of noisy. So I'm going to do a little bit more here off camera. And I'll come back in the morning when it's less noisy. Okay, I have my yellow again this morning, number 5. The color is EZM75. And I had some dots on there, but they seem to be disappearing. Let's start at the bottom. In my head, I had a Palestrina knot and a chain stitch around it, and that didn't really work out very well. But I like the arrow with it, the arrow stitch. So this is a Palestrina knot. Take a little stitch there. And then I'm going to take the back of my needle, go up through the stitch, and then pull it back this way. It makes a little Y. And then I'm going to go through the bottom end of that Y there and wrap the thread. Helps me if I hold that thread back there in place. Then you're just going to pull and make a little knot. So again, take a stitch through, and then go up to make a Y. And then in that bottom leg, okay, I'm going to finish these off camera and be back. This is the arrow stitch that we did in the Stitch Dictionary. I think we did this one way back in December when we first started. I thought that I would do a chain stitch, but when I tried that, it just didn't work out. There goes Mitzi. I got some cat grass for her. She just loves it. Okay, I think I got the stitches pretty close together here. Those knots. But it's okay. They're still working out. Oh. I don't know if I should go around the other side or... Yeah, baby. Okay, well, I added this. This is just back stitch. And I like it. I'm so happy with it. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Bye.